So let's go back to 2001 to 2003. You guys all remember Transformers Armada, right? Or as it was known as in Japan, Transformers Micron Legends. Well, I've got a special toy here that I'm taking a look at, which is Tidal Wave. Yep. Now, before we get onto the actual toy itself, I do want to show you quickly the other variants and other versions of Tidal Wave out there, just so you can, have a rough idea of which ones there are and which one you might want to pick up. So the first one we have here is actually the Takara figure, which is more accurate to the cartoon. Now, funnily enough, in the Japanese version of Armada, he wasn't actually called Tidal Wave, he was called Shockwave, which is interesting. The next variant we have is of, what he looked like in Transformers Energon, which is the animated sequel to the Armada TV show. And he's quite a bit different here, but he is very snazzy looking, albeit he is the same mould overall, just different colours. Now, as of the recording of this video, the Titan class version has not yet been released, but from what we can gather, it's fucking huge. And it is very accurate as well to the cartoon model. You can see the colours match how he looks exactly in the cartoon, which is really nice. I do hope at some point we get the green version, to kind of homage the video game, as it were. Speaking of the video game, Tidal Wave featured in the game as well as one of the bosses. And here is what he looked like. And he is big. Very fucking big. If you think I'm over-exaggerating, trust me, I'm not. Here are the 3 Autobots, the 3 other Decepticons with the dropship above. And there is Tidal Wave's leg right in the middle. Yeah, he is fucking huge. He is monstrous. He is the second biggest character in the game, with Unicron being the biggest one of them all. And let me tell you, he is one tough son of a bitch to take down as well. But I'm not going to ramble any further, because I want to actually show you the toy itself. Okay, so, with all that out of the way, I'm going to start with the box, because I do happen to have the box for this thing. And yes, if you listen carefully, I've got the actual theme from the video game playing in the background, the exact music track that plays when you're fighting Tidal Wave. A little bit of a bonus here, I still have my old PS2 working. So, the box, which still comes with the little bloody plastic ties and everything, which is just cool. You can see it says Transformers Armada there, Vehicle to Robot, Ramjet Minicon, the comic, nice little artwork here, combined to create Warship. Turning around to the side, you get Tidal Wave there, you get the little read up and whatnot, which is in multiple different languages. And we get the back as well, where it shows you can combine the 3 vehicles with Galvatron or Megatron, same mold. Got the 3 vehicles right here, the combined Warship, little thing here showing all the gimmicks off, Ramjet in both his robot and his vehicle form, and then Tidal Wave in his robot mode. Look at the underside, it's the usual copyright stuff, the barcode, and Jetfire, Overload, and Super Optimus Prime. And this side, again, has Tidal Wave with Ramjet, whatnot, and the artwork. So, get that out to the side. I do also have the little sticker, because every one of the Armada toys would have come with a little sticker, which is kind of nice. I'm not going to peel this off and stick it anywhere, I'm going to keep it as is. It has curled a little bit, that's just age. I do also have the mini comic as well, which even though it's quite thick, the comic story isn't that long and it just comes in different languages. So it's quite nice to have it more or less complete with all that. Now, we'll bring in the actual vehicles themselves, which are the 3 pieces. Obviously, if you've played the video game, which some of you watching this will probably be here because of the game, Tidal Wave never appeared like this. All these vehicles have individual gimmicks as well. So, the first one we have is the aircraft carrier. This is the most noticeable one that is closer to a real-world vehicle. And it does look pretty much like a real aircraft carrier with the exception of this bit at the front. The next one we have, and I literally have the Wikipedia page up on my iPad because this has an actual name. This is a Cybertronian double-bowed battleship. Yep, it is. That's literally what it is. I've got the Wikipedia up on my iPad right now, and that's exactly what it is. And then we get this, which is a troop landing craft. Now each one of these has their own gimmicks, which is pretty nice. But I will bring in a couple to do some size comparisons, and I'll bring the others in when it comes to the full warship. And as you can see, they are about just slightly bigger than a deluxe using Hotshot here. They're a fair bit bigger, which is, the norm, I guess, with something like this. And this one is obviously a fair bit bigger. It's almost a third wider. So, get Hotshot out of the way. We'll start with this one first, the aircraft carrier. Now this one, its feature is the Micron storage, because Ramjet is right in here. So this slides up. And for some reason, Ramjet gets stuck in there. I don't know why. He shouldn't actually do that. He should be here, and this just springs up. Either way, it still works, more or less, so we'll remove that. Nice little bit of gold paint in there as well, which is quite nice. A lot of nice surface detailing as well, which I'll show off more in robot mode. So let's clip that down. Just fold out Ramjet. And this bit, as well as a little bit that pegs into there, which is quite nice. There's a little jet. Then we get the Cybertronian double-barreled battleship. And this one has missiles, which these are not the originals. These are 3D printed reproductions that came with this when I bought it. And they're quite nice, actually. They look really good, so I'm going to keep them. And Ramjet can plug right on here. And when you push this, the guns move, which is pretty dang cool. And these guns can also be moved individually. You can click them, and it doesn't affect it. It doesn't stop it from working. So that's pretty dang cool that you can, do that. And then the final one, the troop landing craft, has probably the most ridiculous one of them all, really. These two make sense. This one doesn't. So these open up, and then these flip down to form seats. I appreciate the thought behind this, but this is very, very stupid. Especially as a lot of the Minicons don't actually have knee joints. And some of them don't even have hip joints, like Swindle or Sparkplug. They can't bend their they can't move their legs, so there's only certain Minicons that will really work well with this. Spoiler alert, Ramjet is not one of those Minicons that works well with this. So it's one of those gimmicks where it's good on paper, but it's not really the best when it comes to being thought out, sadly. Let's close it up. Now, these do combine with Galvatron or Megatron, although in Japan, in the Japanese show Micron Legend, I think it is, this would have been just Power Link's Megatron. But it's essentially Megatron with a new colour scheme and changing his name to Galvatron. So I'll get this guy into robot mode, and then I'll show you how these guys combine onto him. So now that Galvatron is in robot mode, there's a few things you actually have to do to Galvatron himself. Raise the arms up, pull this, rotate this down, this then swings around, and I'm not going to bother deploying this out or this, with faffing with a Minicon, it's a bit of a pain, and you need to get, the turret at the front. And with that done, we'll do the arms first, actually, because they're a little easier to get on. Slide that down, and then this hole right here is going to, that Minicon port's going to go into it, and this is going to clamp around the arm. Unfortunately, this is the most impractical feature ever of the two figures. And then, yeah, you're already seeing the problems. These joints cannot hold up the weight. It's not well designed. And then this one right here, you got these little ridges in there that can help you get them out. Though that being said, they are not exactly 100% easy to get out. And you got that hole there for the Minicon port on that arm. And then just snap the little bugger on. And then these will actually clip together like so, forming the Husiv. I don't know what the hell they are. However, what I do know is what this becomes, which is some form of jetpack. So pull these open and then rotate them and then angle them like so. Just kind of get them looking a little nicer than that. And then this essentially clips into here, and this little gap piece right here accommodates the that part right there. And this is why I say to get the arms on first, because it's a lot easier to, you know, get them on. And unfortunately this thing is, yeah, there we go. And that actually doesn't look so bad as a jetpack, really, you know, it gives them a big bulky pair of wings. And but unfortunately the rest of it this is not practical at all. It's great on paper, but it is not practical. You have to keep the arms like this, otherwise they're just going to fall over the place. Like the joints cannot hold up the weight of this. So yeah, this doesn't really work. But it's nice that it's there, I guess. So I'll just show you how to remove them as well, because it can be a little bit of a pain in the arse. This bit just comes off. We'll rotate these like so. And you're going to want to keep this open because I'm going to show you how to combine them essentially. Take this arm right here, undo these clasps, and then pull that off. Weight problems. And then close those up. Then this, just grab this, slide the bugger up, and then take Galvatron. I'll get him back into tank mode, and then we'll deal with this. Right, so combining them, it's a fairly easy thing to do, really. Take these green cockpit sections, the pontoons, as a lot of people like to call them, and get them opened out like this. Then take the aircraft carrier, open those, and I actually recommend you split them in half. It just makes it a little easier. Take these and then snap them right into there, and they snap in quite securely. The snag is detaching them is a bit of a pain in the arse. Then hinge these and snap them together. Make sure the thumbs here are clipped together as well. Then this section snaps in. Now when it comes to connecting the legs, there's a little bit of a trick which involves the torso piece. So you slide this, well, you swivel it to the side, and then because this little bit is like a hook, so you rotate these, and then that just, you know, sits on top right there. Because then when that is central, you can't get it out, which is pretty clever, I guess. But it does mean it's a bit annoying transforming him. So again, get these buggers. And it does take a little bit of finagling with the leg, as you can see, to lock it all into place. And it's just come undone. Come on, stop fighting me. And there is the Mahusive warship. Now this is a very common issue. Drooping. If I squeeze these like that, it does tend to help, but it probably just because of its age and the way the joints are designed, it's not really that big of a deal. But it is just worth noting that you will probably have a case of droop at the front. Now you can still use this main gimmick here. Just bring in Ramjet. Stick him on top. And that still works, which is nice. And it will still work in robot mode as well, which is great. Now we'll compare Ramjet here with the other mini-cons. Start with Clench. They called him Leader 1 then by mistake. Then we'll bring in Liftor, Sparkplug, who has been painted to be weathered up like as if he was from the video game, and then Long Arm again, and then Jolt, who's missing an arm and is not quite fully painted. A few more finishing touches, and then Jolt is fully painted. Little tank, like so. So you can see there's a, you know, Crumple Zone is much bigger than Ramjet. Ramjet is tiny for a mini-con. And then I also have the C-Team on hand right now. I don't remember their individual names, so I do apologise for that. I think one's called Ocean Glide or something. I'm not sure which one. There we go, got that one, and then this one. This one looks like a speedboat with a big gun on it. So that's the mini-cons done. And I'll quickly show Tidal Wave compared to the others in vehicle mode. I'll do the Decepticons first. Even though obviously the video game Tidal Wave is Mahusive, as I showed. So there is Cyclonus combined. Cyclonus with Tidal Wave, and now I'll show him combined with Crumple Zone. And here is Tidal Wave now alongside Cyclonus again, but this time, as you can see, Crumple Zone is combined just like how he was in the video game, which is pretty cool. Next we're bringing is Galvatron. Obviously, if you had Megatron, it's the same mold, just different colours. We'll bring in Red Alert next. Again, custom painted to match the game. Hotshot, who I've not fully finished yet. He's mostly complete in car mode, but he needs a gloss coat and he needs a bit of touching up in some areas. But he's mostly complete. And then we'll bring in Smokescreen, who I'm going to paint to give a realistic look as well. I'm going to do it with all of them. But yeah, obviously the scaling is bad. And then we have Optimus Prime here, who is nearly finished in terms of being a custom piece, but he has a fair bit to go. But obviously the scaling, like I said, you know, it's way off because of the game. And as a little bonus, Transformers Energon Rapid Run, because he is literally just a repaint of the Armada Sideways mold. So that's, you know, that's that. Now, before we get on to transforming this mahoosive beast, I will transform Ramjet, and I'll show you guys how that works, because it's pretty simple being a minicon. So this cockpit section hinges up, and the wings flip up, almost like as if you were storing him away. But this time, this all flips out, and then this flips up, and that forms the feet, and then you just bend down the arms. And there we go. Now for Tidal Wave's transformation, going from this to robot mode, I might have to adjust my setup here because he is quite big. The first thing you're going to do is take this section and split it. Just get these opened up. And then what you want to do next is these right here. You want to not fire the missiles off, straighten them out. I just fired both of them off so that they are like this, and there's a reason for that, because these bits are angled and it's to do with clearance. The next is the legs. Flip these up and then rotate this to get the clearance to get the leg out, and then the leg, just hinge that out, level it up, and then rotate it around and straighten it. And again, the same with the other. Rotate that, unclip this, rotate, straighten out. Then this piece rotates around, and then we'll come to the feet, flip these up and flip out the heels, like so. Then, I'm going to need to adjust my setup. 1 second. Next thing to do is rotate the waist around. Like so. And then these pieces hinge them like so. And then this little notch right there is designed for the button here to fit into. There's a little peg right there that will tab into there. Like so. And the next thing to do is work on the arms. So I'm going to just turn them here for the moment. Then what you're going to do is rotate this and then bend the, or flip the thumb out and bend the fingers. Close that arm down. Repeat the same with the other side. I'll show you. Bend the fingers. These are quite stiff, these hinges. Rotate and then bend like so. Straighten out. And then the final thing to do is grab the head and pull it up. Now there's one more thing as well that will really make him look like he did in the video game, and that's taking these two little turrets and angling them about a 45-degree angle going that way. Because that is how he looked in this. In fact, he's right there. Now, Tidal Wave in robot mode, he does have quite a bit of articulation, more than the usual Armada figures, which is nice. So the arms are literally, you could make an ASMR video out of these arms if you wanted to, because they're so clickety, it's unreal. I have also put the missiles back in. You can transform him with the missiles in, but 9 times out of 10, you'll end up firing them off. Continuing from what I was doing, the arms rotate all the way around and swing out nicely. The elbows bend and you can rotate them. You can rotate them this way as well, but due to this bit, it's going to cause some flexing, and that's just popped off, which is unusual. So if you do bend the elbows this way, just be mindful that this is going to flex and stress. The waist rotates, but it's very freaking stiff. The hips kick forwards and they can kick backwards, and they can kick out to the side, which is pretty good. The knees, unfortunately, do not bend properly. They just do that. There's no actual knee joints in them, which is a bit of a shame. I do want to note as well, this connection bit right here is not great. So I'm probably going to have to tighten that up. I think it's just the way he was designed. Quick little intersection, because I forgot to film this because I'm a fucking idiot. The surface detailing on Tidal Wave is something that is like a lot of the other Armada figures, which is he excels very well at it. There is absolutely loads of it. If you see these bits on the shoulders right here, got loads of little line work, little almost like rivets. Loads of technical details, kind of vent ports. The bridge is nicely done. In fact, if I just pull them in half for a minute, you can see that even this section right here is nicely done. Even the waist section here, the legs, loads and loads of detail throughout. Even this bit is detailed here, and it looks absolutely stunning. As soon as I paint this guy up and then dry brush him to make him look weathered, he's gonna fucking pop. Even the other side is done nicely as well, despite the screw holes. I mean, just look at the amount of surface detail. This is something that Armada absolutely excelled at. Even these pieces right here, just nice detailing all throughout, molded in. It looks fucking brilliant. Even the Z's are opened. You get a nice kind of diamond plating pattern thing here. Diamond etching, I'm not sure what it is. Even the knees, it just looks freaking stunning. And then the rest of him as well is, again, so nicely done. Even the arms, there's line work here. Got all kinds of pistons and wires. It just looks, it's freaking stunning. He's loaded. He's absolutely loaded. Even, again, the bridge of the aircraft carrier is done. All the little windows are etched in. It does look good. All these lines here, they're not just painted, they're actually etched in. So, like I said, he's loaded. These bits are all done. You've got more technical details right there. The same on the other arm as well. And then we turn to the back, and holy shit, there's fucking loads. I've already discussed the lower half, like the legs, so I won't go over those again. But look at all this. All these wires and pipes. These kind of vents here. These turbines, which are also present on the legs. Look at all this. This just looks absolutely friggin' stunning. It is really, really nicely done, and I can't wait to paint this guy up. He's just, imagine this, you know, gunmetal, black wash, and then just dry brush and silver. It's going to make all this detail absolutely pop, and it won't be for a while before I paint him yet, because I've got a few other things to finish, but he just excels so much in the molded detail. Like even in the arm, you know, pull it off and get a closer look. Well, show you a closer look. All that in there. Look at all that. Look how nice that looks. Even this piece is done really, really nicely. There's loads of friggin' detail in this. It is fucking stunning. That's one of the things I like about the Armada figures, is the detail on them is quite nice. Even here, you know, there's bits molded in. These bits as well, just nice detail all throughout. Even here, where you wouldn't necessarily see it, it's freaking stunning. And the head as well. The head is a nice design. Loads of lines all throughout. Very sharp angles. These bits look great. There's detail in them, but it's not easy to see because of the surrounding areas. And it just looks really, really nice. I'll grab Ramjet quickly and I'll show you him, because he also has quite a nice amount of detail. There we go. And again, he looks pretty good. Lots of line work and panel lining all over him. It looks really good. The arms have details on the underside. A little fist is done. I forearms are nicely, the wings even have the Micron symbol, and again, just open that out. Lots of panel lines all throughout. It looks really good. There's even a panel line going down the center here to kind of make the legs look separate, even though they aren't. But it does just look really, really damn good. He's nicely detailed, that's the thing. These two are very nicely detailed. The surface detailing is fantastic. It's one of those things where a really nice paint job will bring it out and just make them look fucking stunning. Right, back onto the rest of it. Now obviously in the game he was a lot bigger than this, like the other Transformers are about that big compared to him as you saw in the image earlier. But I will bring them in so you can see the scaling. He still towers above them like Galvatron here. You can see the fucking massive size difference. And then with Cyclonus, yeah, pretty big. And if I just bring in Energon Rapid Run as well, he's a little smaller than Cyclonus. You can see that, yeah, Tidal Wave just towers above them. I'll bring in the Autobots as well, just so you can see that. Bring in Optimus Prime, the big OP, who is quite OP in the game actually, and yeah, he's got some custom work done in his arms. We'll bring in Red Alert, who's a little bit bigger, and not understand, this box is not great. And then we'll bring in Hotshot and Smokescreen. I'll get Smokescreen in a second. There's Hotshot, as you can see, he's fucking tiny, which makes sense as he is the smallest and he's the sports car. And then Smokescreen. And funny enough, compared with Red Alert and Optimus Prime, this is kind of how I feel standing next to some people, because believe it or not, I am actually 6 feet. I discovered the other day that I'm 6 feet tall, and this is literally what it is like. This is, you know, I feel like Tidal Wave, and this could be a normal size 5 foot something person, because it's fucking mad actually. He is big. Now of course we'll bring in the Minicons and compare them so you can see. So we'll start with Jolt and Ramjet, and you know, comparing them all. You can see Ramjet is quite small. He's a bit smaller than the others. So that's Jolt. I'll bring in Sparkplug next. Yeah, they're kind of around the same height, but obviously Ramjet has the classic G1 unileg thing going on. Long Arm next. You can see they're not too bad. Well, if I kept him in the middle of the camera, wouldn't it? Crumple Zone, who you don't actually see these two in a game. This guy was going to actually be in the game in the storyboards for the mission. You were going to actually face him on the way to Tidal Wave, but it was cut, which is a bit of a shame. Then we got Liftor, who Liftor and Smokescreen were also going to be in the game originally before it got a complete redesign. Still, like that. Bring in Clench. Kind of a Clench is a bit bigger actually. And then we'll bring in the C-Team, which again, I don't remember the names. So that one there. We got this one. And then we've got this one right here. Now Ramjet does have articulation. Let's move him a little closer, but it's not great. And using it is not great. It's the arms. All you can do is that, and it looks pretty bad. I mean, from the front, it kind of looks alright, but then when you get to the side, the elbow joints just are not good. I can understand it, you know, they had to make him compatible with Tidal Wave, but, you know, it's not great. And then the legs, you can bend them here, and you can, well, bend the knees, I guess, but it's that classic thing with the G1 Micromasters and the Headmasters, where the legs are literally fused into one piece. So yeah, it's not really great. And I did mention as well, you can still use the turret gimmick here, so I will show that quickly. Let's get this guy back into jet mode. Plug this on, and then if I move that, you can see they all still move, which is nice. And even these those little ones there on both sides move, which is kind of cool. So yeah, they all still work. You can also put Ramjet back in here, but I'll do that now. I'll show you how to get him back into his warship mode. So just fold that up, fold these up into a little box, and then open this, which is a bit of a bugger. Plug Ramjet right in there. Close that up. Oh, shit, that's not quite working. Close that up. And then snap that down. Now, to get him back into his warship mode, it's literally just reversed the process. So, turn these guns back down, push in the head, start with the arms, like that, rotate this, and then this can and there we go, firing off the missile. So rotate this around, and get this lined up like so. You know what? Eject that one, just get it out of the way. Again, just repeat the same with the other arm. Close that up, rotate, flip down, and then take these two and get them together, snap them together like that. And also, again, those need to be pinched in. Take the chest, rotate it around, rotate the waist, close up the feet, and then just rotate the legs in that position, rotate them around, and just hinge them back. Also, again, be mindful when you're working with the legs, because that is that's always juggling around. And then getting them in, it's easy, just rotate these. Well, sorry, rotate this to get it out of the way, and then kind of just... It's a little bit difficult, this bit. Get that into place. And just rotate, snap in. And then just flip these out, and just, again, yeah, get that all in. And there is Tidal Wave back in his mahoosive, monstrous warship mode. And now, well, you guys know what time it is. Photo montage. If it wasn't obvious enough during the video, Tidal Wave is, because of his size, he is a bit of a prick to film a review with. And that's not necessarily the figure's fault, it's just the size of it. Big figures are always harder to review on camera, because they are so big and they're so bulky, and that review was very, very difficult to film. But other than that, you know, I had an absolute blast filming it, and the figure is an amazing piece to just grab off the shelf and just piss about with and mess around and transform and, you know, pose and whatnot. If only he had knee joints. I've waited for this figure for like 20 years, and it does not disappoint at all. It is everything I hoped it would be, and it is everything as well that I knew it would be. And with that, I'm really, really bloody happy. The fact that it came with a box as well, you know, I was able to get the box with it, was just an added bonus. I was mainly wanting at least a Tidal Wave figure that had the Minicon. You know, I wasn't that bothered about the missiles and whatnot, but again, everything else, like I said, just an added bonus. Obviously, he's not going to be, you know, the size that he was in the game. If he was, he would have to be the size of a 3-story building at least. And that would not work at all. But really, the main reason for the toy being the size that he is to kind of be somewhat in scale with how they were in the cartoon. The video game making him that big was just, I don't know, but it was very cool. Tidal Wave is just, he's brilliant. He's one of the few Transformers, I think, I don't know if there's any others out there that do this. He can pull off 3 separate vehicle modes by essentially coming apart. And all those 3 vehicles are really unique. And then they can combine into one massive mahoosive warship that you see right now that looks fucking brilliant. It doesn't look like it's 3 vehicles just slapped together in a haphazard fashion. It looks like a unique, coherent thing. And it's brilliant. It's absolutely freaking brilliant. You know, I'm really impressed with how they were able to pull this off, especially when this is like a 2003 figure, I think. I'm not getting the box out again to look at it, but I do believe it was around that time. So, you know, again, early 2000s. It's freaking brilliant. And Ramjet's not a bad little Minicon. He is obviously the weakest of all of the Minicons, but that's because obviously he has to be compatible with Tidal Wave. And
you know, he has to fit into the little arm and the gimmick and whatnot. But overall, he's friggin' brilliant, I think. I think the whole pair of them is brilliant. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, which I really hope you did, I put a lot of hard work into editing it, especially that transformation section. Please be sure to give it a like, post a comment if you so wish. If you want to read about Tidal Wave, I will post a link in the description to his appearance in the, his appearance in the cartoon, and will also show what he did in the video game as well on the wiki, and I'll post a link to the actual piece of soundtrack, so if you want to listen to that as well, it will be in the description. My Instagram will also be there as well. And with that, guys, hope to see you all in the next video. Goodbye.